Hey guys, Saturday morning, the 2nd of February. I have the backhoe running at the moment. I want to change the filter on it. It's not near as cold as it was, but it's still cold, probably around in the teens somewhere. But it's supposed to get a little warmer up into the 30s or so. So that's sounding good. So today I'm going to be working on the shave horse that I was talking about. So I made a little sketch of what I want that shave horse to look like. It may not be it's not exactly a set of plans here, but I just wanted to know the lengths of stuff. And one thing nice about working with AutoCAD, and there's all kind of drawing things out there, is that with AutoCAD you can turn this stuff, you can set a person on there and see how it would be, as far as the person sitting there, how things would work out for them. So the numbers of locations of stuff is what's important, and the length. So that's all I'm after here with this drawing. So this is what I'll be working on today. So I marked this board 54 inches long. That's how long it's going to be. I was thinking 48, but 54 inches. So I'm going to cut that off, and then I'll show you more after I get going with that. Okay guys, so for the legs, I'm going to use these two pieces that I had left from the board. When I cut 54 inches, I had almost 40 inches left. So I made the legs 18 inches high. Now I want one to be in the front with one point for the leg. In other words, I don't want 4 legs, I only want 3 legs, because 3 legs, no matter where you set it, it'll be at a stand. So the back will have 2 legs, the front will have 1 leg. So I marked them off 2 inches wide, roughly 5 inches high. I'll just cut that off, and then I'll take inside here on the main board, and I'm just going to cut a groove through there to fit these in. I may be able to cut that groove on a slight angle, but it really doesn't matter as long as I have the the thing in there good and tight, so the leg, so that it doesn't come out of there. I'll probably just groove it and then screw it down. Glue it and screw it. So that's where I'm at so far. So I marked where I want to put the legs, about 1.5 inches from the end. This one's a little bit closer. This is going to be the back end here, so I only left about 1 inch. Not that I would lean back too far that I would pull it over center or anything, so I'm going to just notch that out. I think I'm going to run all this wood through the planer, since it's got a little bit dark from drying it, and then I'm going to put some kind of finish on this stuff. Okay guys, so the bench part is made. That's upside down there, that's the front, and then this would be the back. So I'm going to set it down there and we'll take a look at this. See, having 3 points of contact for the ground makes that thing stable no matter where you put it. So all I did was cut a groove in there so the legs can't really break off. I put 4 screws. There's 4 screws in here, and I glued it. And I got plenty of room here to work. What I'm thinking about doing, I don't have a piece of 2x10 that I actually want to cut into a little piece. But I have this piece of red oak here. I was thinking about putting this on the end, and I've seen them make all kinds of stuff there. I don't understand why people don't just put a hinge over there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a hinge on that one end there. Let me get it. So I'm going to just take this flat hinge, and I'm just going to screw it onto this thing in here, and that'll raise that up anywhere you want. And then I have to make the thing that holds the wood. I'm not looking for some kind of piece of furniture here. I'm just looking for something that can hold some of the wood that I end up with the draw knife shaping. And as far as I'm concerned, this should be good right here. I've got to go get a 2x4 out of the shed. I might have to move up here or whatever, but either way I can work with this thing. I think it should be good at this distance. I don't want it to be too big or too small. And like I say, I'm going to just put that hinge on the end, but why not? We'll go up and down and should be good. I'll put some real long screws in there, not that they rot off at the end there or so. But that's what I'm going to do. So the foot pedal for that thing, I didn't have any round dowels that were big enough. I have 3/4 inch dowels. I wanted a 1 inch. So this is the handle that came from that broken hoe that I fixed last week. So I'm turning it down to 1 inch and making it a full 1 inch all the way along it for the foot pedal of the shave force. Well guys, that's as far as I got today. And I'm going to knock off for the day because I'm getting tired and I have more chores that need to be done that are just normal stuff. So this has to come up off the floor a little bit, be pinned into the seat, and then I got to put a brace across the top. There may be 1 or 2 for putting weight onto the work that I'm going to be cutting. So I'm going to call it quits for today. 40 degrees, but it doesn't really, I don't know, I don't see any water really running out there anywhere. That's what the thermometer said, I guess in the sun, my wife was telling me. Have a good one. Well guys, it looks like Phil Pulver's making a nest for himself. Well, I said I wasn't going to finish this, but I couldn't do that. Because with it being Sunday tomorrow, I'm going to try not to do anything. So I was fooling around with this a little bit here. I'll hook you up to the thing here. Now, I have lag bolts in here and they're really long. They almost go through that entire board. So they're 8-inch lag bolts coming in from each side. So they're not going to be a problem for making a, to swivel that thing. The dowels fit nice and tight, so there's really nothing to worry about there. I do have some space behind me here. If you look back here, pretty much space left over. I could have made this thing shorter. Maybe I should have. You know how it is, you make stuff for yourself, and if you're not using anybody's measurements, and I'm really not, I looked at a video and the guy was actually showing you how to make a spoon, but he was using one of these, and the one he had is the one I liked, so I just went with this. And also I figured that most of the things I'm going to be working with are going to be 2 inches thick, okay, or 1.5 inches. So I just went with, something like that for the time being. But I find this to be pretty neat. I really do. I don't know where these were invented. I would imagine in Europe or England or somewhere in the old days. But I got to tell you, it doesn't take much to hold that. You would think that you'd have to really push hard on this, but you really don't. And of course, my handles here, I'm going to have to shorten these handles possibly. I don't know why I put them so long in here. But either way, it still works nice. Now the thing is as far as making a big, like when as you work back further there, and it doesn't matter how big the bench is. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's a matter of your legs, So, I mean, let's say I wanted to, let me see how far back here I can go. Okay, I'm touching now with my toes. So, what do we got here? So we got 20 inches of wood that's sticking out there. And I think that, depending upon how big your legs are, depends upon really whether this thing's going to fit you or not. Now, unless there's a bunch of different kinds of adjustments on there, that would determine, that would really be the thing that determines, you know, how big of wood you can work with. But regardless, usually handles, things like that, I think this would work pretty nice for that. I can adjust the height of where this wood is just by pulling this board here forward, this block. So if I want it down lower, I could get it down lower, and if I want it up higher, all I have to do is push that back further. So I can get it to that height. That would be the maximum height for a 2x4. And to me, you know, that height isn't bad to work at. I could see why some of these guys would get really good at being able to make axe handles and pick handles and stuff on a tool like this, because it certainly makes it a lot nicer than trying to screw around holding it with a vise and a clamp and all kinds of nonsense. So I could see why they put these things together, you know, whenever they invented it. Like I say, it's pretty nice. I like it a lot. So yeah. Now, I'm not too crazy about you know, and this is something here too, like you see how hard that's digging in there? When you're making table legs and stuff, you got to know which way the drain is going so you can work on cutting that better. Like this, cutting it this way should actually be from the opposite end. It's just something that you have to learn. But I could see myself making wheelbarrow handles on here, you know, tool handles, all kinds of neat little rounded edge things. So there's a piece of red oak here. Nice, nice. I'm glad somebody mentioned to me that I should make one, and now that I have, I'm actually glad that I did. And there wasn't much to it. I mean, it wasn't like I spent 8 hours doing it. I had other work I had to do today. But, yeah, it comes in pretty handy. And I'm just going to take this thing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put copper coat on it. I'm going to put copper coat on the whole thing, and I'm going to leave it outside somewhere probably over by my greenhouse. You know, where I can get at it anytime I want. It's stable and everything, even though we have that three-legged, you know, donkey, I guess you could call it. But it's actually pretty neat. And all I did at the end there, like I say, is I put a hinge down there. I cut this block of wood like this now. You know, it just seems to compress this good and all. And I've only used it that little bit that you saw me there. So it all depends on, you know, how and what you're doing, how thick something is. So, pretty neat. Pretty neat. It really holds that. I mean, some of that stuff I'm pulling pretty hard on this. I'm surprised at how well that holds that there. Now, you see how like goes to the side sometimes when I'm thinking maybe putting a block, just a little catch like on that end, a little stop, just to keep it from turning, one on each side. They say you can make a bow on here. Now I know you guys don't know this, but at one time I used to make fiberglass bows with a frame, laminated, a riser and laminated fiberglass to make bows out of, but I left that equipment for someone else to have. But anyway, I could see myself making a longbow on this, and I'd actually like to have a longbow. I have bows, but I don't have a longbow. I had one that was 55-pounder. I broke it once a long time ago. So anyway, guys, so there we have it. It's pretty simple. This board is a 2x10, 54 inches long. The two legs are 20 inches, okay? So all I did was put a groove in each board, and I put glue in there, and I just drilled holes down through it. Just show you this up close a little bit here so you have it good. So I'll go over this slow, so you could, if you wanted to make one just like this, which this isn't the greatest, but it's not bad. 54 inches by 2x10, okay? These are 20 inches high, the legs on each side. This leg is cut just with a V out of it so it stabilizes itself at this end. That leg is cut to something like a point to stabilize it on any kind of land, if you're on something that's not exactly flat or, you know, straight or whatever. Then these boards here are 30 inches. So from the bottom where your feet go up to the pivot point is 15 inches. So from where your feet go to pivot is 15. And then from these are 4 inches down from the top. Now that all depends on how you make this board that rests the wood on. So this is only a 2x8, or I mean a 1x8, this piece here, 1x8 with a hinge on it, and it's 18 inches long, I believe. Let me check that. No, it's longer than that. Okay, 20 inches long. So that board that the wood rests on is a 2x6. Yeah, 2x6. Boy, I'm getting all goofed up here. That board is a 2x6, 20 inches long. This dowel here is a 3/4 inch dowel. It doesn't have to extend out both sides, but I have it that way. Roughly 18 inches. The bottom one there is 22 inches. Excuse me. That bottom dowel, 22 inches from one side to the other. That gives you enough room for your feet to be on the outside here, like kind of like a bicycle pedal. But anyway, yeah, I'm happy with it. So like I say, I'm going to put copper coat on this thing so I can leave it outside. Maybe I'll put some blocks or something, cement blocks somewhere where I can just set it and forget it. And when I need it, I'll just go over and use it. But anyway, came out pretty good as far as working. So that's all that really matters, is that it works. And Bullseye made a mess over there. Actually, I made the mess. He enjoyed the mess. So I got to clean up my stuff here so I can get my trucks back in my truck. Yeah, pretty simple. Oh. You know, it's a pain when you get older. I have all kind of things I want to do yet, and just don't have all the energy I need to have to do it all. These are 3-inch screws, so they're going way up in here. I would have liked to have made this out of all white oak, but white oak would be pretty heavy. This thing's heavy enough as it is. That's white pine there, really some nice white pine. Okay guys, have a good one. I gotta clean up here. It's already 7 o'clock. Bye. Okay, so I don't forget, all of the wood that's on this thing came from the Wood Miser, except that 3/4 inch dowel up there. Now I could have easily turned a dowel from something, but I had them 3/4 inch. I did turn this one from a handle. So the two dowels, that dowel and that dowel, did not come from the Wood Miser, but everything else did. Okay, so we're all cleaned up here, and it's time for resting.